We have a Travis Kelce injury update for you. Will the Chiefs tight end play this Thursday given a short week? Plus, we're going to go over some overreactions after yesterday's Chiefs victory over the Minnesota Vikings. Hint, hint, the best cornerback duo resides in Kansas City. But before we get today's show started, I need you to help me out and congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs on the victory over the Vikings. Now 4-1, 4 victories in a row. Get in the comments section of today's video and type KC to congratulate Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, and the entire Chiefs on their victory. Victory Monday sure does sound good to me. What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? My name is Jace Andrews, and you are watching the Chiefs Report. And it feels nice to be here again on another edition of this Victory Monday, the fourth in a row for the Chiefs after the 27-20 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. We got some news to talk about before we go into that game, and that's Travis Kelce and his injury. Now, he left the game in the second quarter yesterday after having a non-contact injury. Now, at first, it seemed like, this is not very good. He did return, though, in the second half, in fact, running onto the field after halftime, looked really good, and, well, the stat line, you wouldn't have even known that he was injured. 11 targets, 10 receptions, plus that touchdown to seal it late. Pretty good game from the Chiefs tight end. Overall, I like what I saw from him, especially playing through that injury. That dude is tough. Now, he was not the only injury, though, that Andy Reid noted after the game. He talked about 3 guys in specifically. The first one being, obviously, Travis Kelce. The second being Drue Tranquill, who said he had a knee injury but played through that as well and played very good, might I say, along with Mike Danna, who hurt his ribs. But funny enough, Mike Danna may have been hurt in the game and played through it. The dude got the game-winning sack, literally sacking Kirk Cousins, throwing him down really on top of his own self, which is where those ribs are. I don't know how he did it, but either way, it didn't matter. He closed out the game, and I think I'm going to quote Andy Reid here and say, this team is tough. I don't care what you say about it. Travis Kelce was just the start of it. They are playing through literally everything. And you talk about Patrick Mahomes. He had his ankle rolled up on 2 weeks ago against the Bears. Early in the game yesterday, he had an injury as well where it kind of looked like, coming up hobbling. Either way, though, he played through it, and the Chiefs got the victory, including being up 14 at one point, ended up only winning by 7. But either way, you take the dub. Close games have seemed to be a trend here with this Chiefs team. All right, give me a one-word reaction before we get into our overreactions on the Chiefs' victory here, as I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of words come to mind, but let me know what you're thinking. One-word reaction to the Chiefs' win against the Vikings yesterday. Let's get into the overreactions, with the first one being the one that I mentioned at the top of the show. The best quarterback duo in the NFL. Now, what am I talking about? Well, I'm saying Sneed and Trent McDuffie, they're the best quarterback duo in the entire National Football League, and I think it was proven last night. Overall, their stats in the season, pretty dang good. 17 targets against them, only 11 receptions for Trent McDuffie, 23 targets against Sneed, and 13 receptions against him. The big thing I want to point out, though, is what they did to Justin Jefferson yesterday afternoon. Look at that. It makes me smile from ear to ear. And now I know Jay Jettas got hurt in the fourth quarter, but for a majority of that game, he was locked down by Sneed and McDuffie. 3 receptions, 28 yards. Boy, oh boy, those 2 guys looked really good, along with Joshua Williams, who also looked pretty dang good. Now, Trent McDuffie, on the other hand, he was the top-ranked PFF cornerback last week. Well, he's dropped to second place now, but still an 88.1 PFF grade. Goodness gracious, this guy in his second year is becoming one of the top cornerbacks in the entire NFL, and I am just super excited to see what he can do in the future, because the past 2 games, he's had some tough tasks, him and Sneed. Now, was more coverage on Garrett Wilson last week, but this week they kind of split the duties with Justin Jefferson, giving him playing in the slot, playing him on the outside. McDuffie and Sneed, though, they held him calm all afternoon long. I mentioned the short week. Well, I want you to join us for our live watch party with the Broncos coming up on Thursday Night Football. So make sure you're subscribed to the Chiefs Report. hit that notification bell. That way you get a notification for every video I post, along with you're going to get a notification 30 minutes before we go live on Thursday Night Football this week versus the Broncos. Amazon Prime game. I know some people can't watch it. If you can't, come join us. We're going to be live probably around 6:10, 6:20. Come join us. We're going to have a fun time. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a watch party. All right, let's go to our second overreaction, and that is that Justyn Ross is here. Now, again, this is really opinionated because I think I can speak for the entirety of Chiefs Kingdom when we want to see more of Justyn Ross. We got to see him for really the best game he's had this season. It's not much, but 2 receptions and 28 yards. Well, that's pretty dang good if you ask me. And I think one of the crazier parts about all this is that he actually had more targets than some Chiefs names. We're going to get to those names in just a second, but before I tell you who he had more targets than, I got to tell you about Prize Picks, the daily fantasy sports app of my choosing and the easiest way to play daily fantasy sports. Now, Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. But how does it work, you say? Well, you just pick 2 to 6 players, and if they will go more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. You can see there my picks, and boy, oh boy, $5, I can win 25 with Monday Night Football. I mean, you'd just be silly not to try and go out there. 5 to win 25. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm going less on Josh Jacobs tonight. I just don't think he's going to have a good game. I know Jimmy G is back. I will say Hunter Renfrow, that seems absurdly low for his receiving yards. I think he can get more than that. And then, if you know me, I'm a kicker guy. I like field goals. I want to see them just because I'm going more here on the combined field goals for tonight's game. 2 good kickers. I think they're going to get more than 3.5. And again, quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Make sure you go check out Prize Picks. I'm using them tonight. You should as well. All right, I mentioned the targets, who he had more than, who Justyn Ross had more than. He had more than MVS, Sky Moore, and Justin Watson. That's the top 3 receivers technically on this offense if you want to take out Rashee Rice. Because Rashee Rice, his snap percentage, which we'll get to in a moment, was absolutely absurd. But I think the thing that I'm focusing on, it was just good to see him in action. We saw what he could do in the preseason, and we just haven't seen it since. Well, he did that yesterday. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, just for the simple fact that the 2 receptions he had, great catches. High pointed one of them. That dude looked like he jumped 6 feet in the air and caught it. The problem was the 2 targets he did not catch. What hit him in the chest? So, I don't know where you go from that. They gave him a chance. He dropped 2 and hit him in the chest, but he also made 2 amazing plays. I just hope they use him more. I know Richie James could come back soon, but, man, he looked good. Just give him those jump balls and let him see what he can do. Let me know if you want to see more of Ross, given what we saw yesterday. Type Y for yes or type N for no in today's comment section. Let me know, because overall I think it could be a mixed opinion. I know a lot of Chiefs fans like what they saw from him and the way he high-pointed the ball, but I also know there was some frustration with those 2 drops that I mentioned. So let me know in today's comment section. This will be the pinned poll, so get in there, type Y for yes and type N for no. I mentioned Rashee Rice in that topic. Well, he's the next overreaction. Rice should be wide receiver 1. Now, I don't know if this is an overreaction or an opinion that every Chiefs fan has, because I've asked around, and basically the opinion that I have and the opinion that I've got is that Rashee Rice should 100% be wide receiver 1. Now, here's the problem, though. Yesterday, when it was his time to go out on the field, he got a 2nd touchdown of the year. His first one was the first touchdown of the year against the Lions. He actually caught it, was the first one. Since then, hasn't had a snap. But then he only played 30% of the snaps in yesterday's game. Just let him go out there and play. I mean, a guy with that fire and that energy, you can just see it exuding from him when he is on the field, and I want him to be out there as much as possible. He leads the Chiefs wide receivers in receptions, in targets and first down conversions, and now he has 2 touchdowns. He's also talked about multiple times how in the future he wants to be like Travis Kelce, where he can kind of just mimic him, go on routes, and then if that doesn't work, kind of audible himself and run to the open area. I like what I've heard from him. I want to see more from him, but 30%, come on, Andy Reid. We need more of Rashee Rice. Let's get to our 4th overreaction, and that's that the Chiefs will not lose again. I'm going to say it. We'll talk about it, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Here's the 3 tough remaining games that I'm going to pick out. Now, November 5th, you have the Dolphins in Germany, which the more I watch the Dolphins, the less concerned I get, just for the simple fact that their defense is one of the worst defenses, I think, in the NFL. They're definitely bottom 3rd. Now, they played the Giants, so obviously anybody's going to stop them, so can't really base it off this weekend. November 20th against the Eagles, they look pretty dang good. I'm not going to lie there. And then December 10th against the Bills, that's going to be a fun game. But right now, the Chiefs, they sit at 4-1. They have the Broncos in the next 3 weeks twice, and the Chargers, and then they have the Dolphins. Win the next 3. Hopefully, you're going to be 7-1 going into that Dolphins game, and then you get a bye before you get to the tougher part of your second half schedule. So I want to know from you, given the Chiefs' record right now, 4-1, and those 3 tough games that I mentioned coming up, you also have the Bengals in there. We've seen Joe Burrow not play well this year. I decided to not include them because Burrow had, no. What will the Chiefs' final record be? Let me know in the comment section today. You're probably going to get a YouTube ad break. I can't control it, but either way, just go in there and while you have time, put in the Chiefs' final record, what you think it's going to be, because it's 4-1 right now. What do you think it'll be after the final game of the season? For me, I said it. I'm going to talk about it now. They won't win out. I don't think that's just kind of illogical in football. The Chiefs are really, really good. There's no doubt about that. And I would honestly say they right now have the best odds to go back to the Super Bowl in the AFC. But it's too early in the season, and I think with the way this wide receiver core is kind of put around, being a wide receiver by committee, I just don't see that happening. Now, I will say there's no way they lose more than 3 games the rest of the season. I think at worst, their record to end the season would be 13-4. I think that's the absolute bottom tier. I really think that their record should be 14-3. I'll say 2 losses, one of them maybe to the Eagles. I think that'll be a close game. And then you could probably throw one in there against the Bills. I don't know. They could win against them. But I think the best one that I would hope is you lose one more game. You finish the season at 16-1. You go to the playoffs feeling confident. And hopefully you're into another Super Bowl. That's the hope. But let me know again in the comments what you think the final record would be. That's all we got for you today. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you made it to the end of the video, do me a favor. Like the video. It really helps out, supports the channel, and it makes sure that I know who's watching till the end. So hit that like button. It's free, it's fast, it's easy, and it helps me, it helps the channel, and it helps Chiefs Kingdom grow here on the Chiefs Report. That's it for now. We will see you tomorrow. Peace out.